Hello, Internet. You're listening to the In Your House Comedy Podcast with
Kd and Kersey.
Now hold on to your butts. Keep your arms and legs inside the podcast at all times. Prepare to have an autographical orgasm. In 3, 2, 1.
Hello, all you sexy people, and welcome to the Kd and Kersey podcast, the show where we talk about all things weird and or interesting. This is episode 9. I am your resident stand-up comedian and all-around creative juggernaut, Kd Hinken. Unfortunately, Mr. Kersey cannot be with us this week. He's currently in Wales with his lady partner. Hopefully, he won't get stuck there.
Sounds very nice.
Well, it's Wales. I don't imagine it's
Yeah.
much different. But I haven't introduced you yet. You're not here, Nathan.
Sure.
Where was I? Yeah, but I lost my place now. But I am joined by another one of my fellow funny friends, a fellow stand-up comedian from around the circuit. He's the creator of the post-apocalyptic metal treehouse sketch show, available now on the Dead Man Dancing YouTube channel, and he is the man of 1,000 voices, and not all of them are in his head, Mr. Nathan Parish. How are you, dude?
I'm not so bad. I love that intro. That's my favourite intro now. I'm going to use it every time.
I like to make an effort on the intros for you now.
It's good, man.
Yeah,
That's Blair.
yeah, exactly, man. So how's your week been then? You were saying a moment ago before we came on, you've had a tiring week then.
I've had a long one. I've had to deal with people just not doing what they say they'll do, and work's not.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not even that. Like work isn't even turning up at the moment because of lockdown. People aren't interested in that much removal stuff. But I've been working on the sketch show. I've been working my arse off on the sketch show. We've got 3 sketches of episode 3 that are complete now. Got sound effects and everything. Just need a little bit of tweaking of the volumes and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that, man. Or hearing it. Sorry.
It's going to be good, man. It's going to get weird. This episode gets fucking strange. Like, the previous 2 have just been your standard sketch show. This one's going to go off on the fucking, on a random turn. It's
going to be going like Mighty Boosh level stuff.
I love those guys.
So I'm trying to open a fucking Kid Locks bottle and it's fucking, I can't get into it.
Are you trying to do scissor?
What?
Are you trying to do scissor?
I don't know what that is. I was opening one of them and it would not open.
You don't know what scissor is, bro. Oh my god. Scissor's what nearly killed, was it Lil Wayne?
Scissor?
Yeah. Scissor. Right, so what you do is you take 7-Up and you mix it with codeine-filled cough medicine and you just drink it by the pint.
Okay.
And that's scissor. It's fucking dangerous.
I imagine you get a good high from that thing because I heard that from cough medicine before.
Yeah. That stuff's pretty damn good. The American cough medicine is the kind of shit you really want to get your hands on.
That's actually I've never heard of it over here. Is it different over here then?
Oh yeah, it's like Nurofen or is it Sudafed, the one in America which they make crystal meth out of? Yeah, Sudafed, I think it is. Same thing over here, just doesn't have that chemical in it. I think it's just doesn't exist. But in America, it's like, yeah, but we're making money off the profit, and they're like, yeah, fair play, then off you go.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So even like the drugs in that are worse. Not only the food in that they put it into it, but even the
Or
drugs.
is it better?
Probably worse.
Probably worse.
So what kind of like we talk about a lot interesting, just any interesting stuff on here. Like what kind of like conspiracies or anything like that are you into? Do you like history? What's your bag?
I just gave you scissor on a silver platter, bro.
Yeah, okay. You gave it a great one straight away. Okay. So drugs.
Yeah. No, I'm not so sure on conspiracies at the moment. There's not really many that have, I don't know, impressed me as of recent. Like the vast majority of them just seem to be incredibly like scared. And there's not much else to it. It's like the older conspiracies, like the going to the moon kind of stuff. It was like, there was a plan, it was this, it was that. And now a lot of modern conspiracies are just like, yeah, but the Earth's flat and that's why they want to keep you down. It's like, man, I can't see the connection there at all. Yeah. There's no connection.
Yeah. I've always said this. I love conspiracies a lot, mainly because it shows a lot about like the psychology of people, because most of them are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Utterly, like the lizard people. No reason why you think that.
Yeah, David Icke is getting a massive boost again recently as well. Like, people love David Icke again all of a sudden. It's like, do you not remember all of the mad shit that he said? Do you not remember this? And that
I don't even know who that person is.
Oh,
that name rings a bell.
Yeah, he claims that the Queen is a shape-shifting alien. He claims that the Illuminati are in control of everything on the planet. And it's like, I think I've discussed this with you before. It's like, there probably is a cabal of like billionaires who all get together and get things done in the same time because they all know each other. There's like 300 billionaires in the world and they all go to the same fucking parties. They're all talking behind each other's back. It's like high school.
But, Bohemian Grove, they had that. Alex Jones got the tape from that. And that was all. That's basically what that is, isn't it?
Yeah. That was fucked. I only found out recently how fucking much of that was true on a JRE, and he was talking about, there's this owl god that they all worship, and they do sacrifices that aren't real sacrifices anymore. It's just like a doll that they burn, and it looks like a person. It's like, how the fuck do you know that from a camera angle? First of all, second of all, owl god.
All in like robes and stuff, chanting all this crap. Yeah. What the hell?
That's the shit that's interesting. That's the shit where you go, okay, there's something in this, because it's not just random speculation of, but it's all in your head, man. It's like conspiracy. Is no. These fuckers are into something, and there's video proof.
So you like evidence as well, then, like me. Yeah. Like
if I can see proof, I'm into it.
Yeah,
the Epstein thing, it's so obvious Epstein was fucking killed. We're not and no one's talking about it anymore. It's like, it happened. What about COVID now?
Yeah, it shows how easy it is. Like, it was the kind of thing that people would say, people would never do this because it'd be so blatant. And no, they did it, and everyone's like, oh, it's so blatant.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is on then? Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's what's funny, because then now everyone in the news is looking at Russia, and I'm not a fan of Russia or Putin particularly, but they're all like, the Novichok thing has happened again. It's like, yeah, but you just killed Epstein.
Yeah, and that was just, I was about to say, that was just for themselves, but the Russia thing is the same thing. So yeah, it's literally exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. Governments are all bastards. It's the worst of people being told to pretend like they're the best of them, and it's just,
I'm glad you said all that, though, because that fits perfectly to my story this week.
Nice.
You like the evidence, you like the real stuff,
Yeah.
Who wants to go first, though? Do you want to go first, or would you like me to? Totally up to
you go ahead. You go ahead. Because to be honest, I don't have a particularly great one.
I was debating mine all yesterday and today, to be honest. Jeffrey Epstein was going to be, the murder of Jeffrey Epstein was going to be one that I was going to cover. That's why I mentioned this.
Yeah.
What else was I thinking about? There was some big crazy battle that I still want to do in a future one, so I'm not going to mention.
Oh, is that the Nazi bell?
What?
Is that the Nazi bell?
A big crazy battle.
Oh, I thought you said bell. That might be my one. Might bring that in, because that's fucking crazy. It's a sound-based weapon the Nazis were planning.
That sounds amazing. I haven't heard of that either.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a story of Commander David Fravor.
Nice.
So we all know 2020 has been synonymous with the virus, the protests, but there has been something else that's happened this year that's been pretty big that seems to have fallen between the media cracks, kind of like the Epstein stuff, like we were saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a small fascination in aliens and UFOs that was kind of rekindled after the whole Bob Lazar story.
Yeah, hang on. A random thing. If Disney Plus saying that I haven't paid them, they can get fucked.
I'm thinking about getting that soon, because isn't there WandaVision coming out soon?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for at this stage.
Yeah.
It looks fucking cool.
It does. Yeah. I didn't realise until literally the other day it's based after Endgame as well.
Yeah, I didn't realise that. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that, like this sort of artificial afterlife, it looks like.
Well, there was this story from like the comics in that House of M, but it's all about Scarlet Witch having the power to bend reality. So I think
I didn't know that.
And at the end of it, she says, no more mutants, and that's what kills like most of the mutants off. No more mutants. Boom.
fuck those bastards.
I don't know why they were scared of the Phoenix, man. She's the proper scary one, she is.
Yeah, but they've tried that twice in films and it's never worked.
Exactly, yeah. Forget that.
How do they fuck up that storyline that badly twice?
Twice. Game of Thrones the second time. Ugh, using the Game of Thrones lady.
And it was now it's aliens are involved. What? Why are aliens involved? Why was that ever a thing?
You know what? I'm thinking about it now, and I don't think I ever actually watched it because I heard it was terrible. Yeah, it just wasn't worth it.
I just saw synopsises and saw people talking about it on YouTube videos, and I was like, that ain't for me.
No.
It's like, you remember that Fantastic Four movie they had? Like the one that came out and just died on its arse.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That, I tried watching that with a friend, and I shit you not, we had to drink 5 beers each and smoke 3 massive joints just to get through it.
Sounds about right.
I'm not endorsing marijuana, people, but for fuck's sake.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, same here then.
Which brings me on to our sponsors this week. No.
Oh!
That'd be amazing.
It's Alabama Kush.
Okay, so where was I at? So I don't cover a lot of alien or UFO stories because, like we were saying a second ago, I don't like covering them unless there's evidence or fact to it. It's pointless. And people always point it out in the same way with ghosts. That if aliens or UFOs are real, there'd be good videos of it, not all these fuzzy, out of focus ones.
Yeah,
it's a fair point completely. So bearing that in mind, let's now rewind to November 14th, 2004. Enter Commander David Fravor. Commander David Fravor is a Navy pilot of over 18 years. We're going Top Gun. Oh God, it's actually going to be harder to do than
Highway to the danger zone. Gonna take it right into the danger
zone. I'm going to try and keep this on for as long as I can. It probably won't last long, but
that's fine.
I'm taking them off already. Don't annoy me. It really didn't last long. Okay, so Commander David Fravor is a Navy pilot of over 18 years. He was based on a carrier in the waters roughly between San Diego and Mexico somewhere. Him and his team were partaking in training operations with the other units based in the carrier. Yeah, the set training mission was a 2-on-2 air defense exercise, pitting 2 Marine planes against 2 Navy planes. And Commander Fravor was in the one Navy plane. Fravor and the other Navy pilot take off from the carrier and head to their previously confirmed spot north of the carrier, which is Cap Point. On Favor's team was himself and his weapons controller that was in his plane with him. He had his wingman as well, and had the same, so there was the wingman with his weapons controller in that plane too. But shortly after taking off, Fravor received a communication from the USS Princeton, which was the carrier they were on, asking them what fuel and weaponry they had on board. He and his teammate had plenty of fuel, but no active weaponry, as they don't use active weapons for training missions for obvious reasons. That's happened a lot, apparently.
Yeah. Let's just pretend to drop a bomb. Oh, shit, we dropped a bomb.
I'm guessing that's, when you used to hear constantly friendly fire, someone died from friendly fire.
Yeah, there's a video somewhere of an American A-10C Warthog shredding an entire Allied column. It's not smart.
Yeah. But they were informed that the training mission had been cancelled due to a real-world vector, and they sent them out to the west to investigate about 60 miles further out to sea. At this point, while travelling to said investigation point, Fravor and his team are informed of what has been happening over the past 2 weeks previously. Right. Any idea what might have been happening over those last 2 weeks?
Extraterrestrials.
You're not wrong. So, Fravor and his men would find out that for the last 2 weeks they've been at sea. The USS Princeton, the carrier they'd been on, had been tracking these objects coming out of the sky, shooting down about a dozen a day, according to the Princeton controller that he spoke to.
Fuck.
They would shoot down from about 80,000 feet to about 20,000 feet in moments, hover for a couple of hours, sometimes up to 4 hours, and then just shoot back up again in an instant. The actual distance they shot down from is actually unknown. The 80,000 feet estimate is given because that's just as far as the radars can see.
Yeah, that's the maximum of where they can detect. That's fucked.
Yeah.
See, to me, in my head, all I'm seeing that tactic from Battlestar Galactica, you know, where they drop in through the sky and then suddenly it's like disappear out of nowhere.
Not a clue.
Oh,
I can imagine.
Bro.
I was a stomp when I was younger. I was never into like the old looking.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
this is the modern stuff. This is the new version of Battlestar. Well, and literally like the ship just flies into the atmosphere and then suddenly just disappears in a jump and leaves a vacuum of light air, and it just implodes and then boom, explodes again with like a shockwave. Oh, it's badass.
That actually makes a lot of sense from some of the conversations I've seen this on, because this has been on Joe Rogan a few times. There's an interview, the whole 2 hour thing with the guy, this David Fravor guy.
Yeah.
And he's talking about stuff like that. So comparing it to that.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking badass.
Yeah, so that was everything that was happening over the last 2 weeks, though. And everyone just weren't told about it, so they weren't aware of this until they were on the way. They were told then. So him and his wingman are flying to the west. Eventually, they get up close to where the object is showing on the radar. At this point, Fravor thinks it will be nothing more than a drug runner from nearby Mexico. He's skeptical. He's never been a believer about any of that kind of stuff. And they didn't say it was that. They just said things appearing. At this point, they start a circle pattern around the area of the object. Both planes next to each other. So if compared to a clock, they would be flying around the outside of the clock while the thing they were looking for was in the middle. So that's just, they're going around so they can keep like a basic,
sort of pattern around it just to sort of check it. Yeah.
So the day is very clear and the waters are totally calm. When they get low enough, they notice something to their right down at the sea level. There is a disturbance in the water in the shape of a cross, which is like a load of white cap. So like the water, like when it goes in rapids and it's just bubbling away and that.
Yeah.
In the shape of a cross, about the size of a Boeing 737 passenger plane, the Fravor compared it to.
Fucking hell.
So big old thing in the water, just bubbling away. Then they notice a smaller white Tic-Tac looking object just above the water disturbance. Fravor estimates the size of the Tic-Tac to be roughly 40 feet, about the same size as a Hornet jet, which is a general jet, you see.
Yeah, I know the Hornet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about any of this stuff before. They've had to check every single thing. I was like, 737, I've heard of that. What's that? Oh, plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The object is moving extremely quickly, the Tic-Tac. In all directions above the water disturbance in a manner that resembles how a ping pong moves in a glass. So it's just not exactly like that, but flat, just bouncing about everywhere. So I guess more like if you're playing pinball and it's going crazy on the things. I mean, more like that.
Yeah.
So the bouncing around.
Yeah, because that's the way I always heard it described in again in the Bob Lazar bits. He's talking about it sort of just zipping and then there and then it's there and then it's there.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, because the bit they're on about there is like when it shoots up as well. Before they shoot off, they do this thing where they vibrate lows and it goes.
Ooh, so, that's weird. I didn't know about that bit.
That's what that is. Or it looks like they're disappearing because you just can't. I don't know. You saw.
Yeah. It could be a distortion around it that's being caused by the way it moves. We don't know. Yeah,
exactly. Or the gravity field they're said to emit as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're up to date with the whole Bob Lazar thing then?
Oh, I love that shit.
Oh,
in fact,
cool.
I love this story as well. I know bits of the story. It's interesting to have the full breakdown of how it happened and when and the timing.
Yeah.
Because it's undeniable to a certain extent now that they're there. We just don't know what they are, but it's likely to be that more than anything else, really, isn't it? I mean,
exactly. It's unknown either way. But let's not jump ahead.
Yeah.
Fravor states he originally thought it may be a helicopter, but it was obvious there was no rotor wash coming from the sea below. They realised it had no rotor at all, full stop. So what Fravor actually decides to do is take a closer look at the object while his wingman stays in the same position he was to keep a bird's eye view on it. So he's going to start going down towards it. So Fravor slowly descends, still in a circular motion, descends from 20,000 feet to 18,000 feet. In an instant, the object stops and turns with the one end of the object pointing towards Fravor's plane, still at sea level. Fravor's still going down. He continues his descent, and the object begins to mirror him. So starts going in the same manner, like up, so going around this circle. He does that too, but going towards him, which is weird as well.
Yeah.
Fravor kept saying that during all of this, he was weirded out by it, because he didn't believe in any of that kind of stuff. So he's just very much like, I'm expecting this to make sense, and it's just not. And now it's,
Yeah, I mean, to be told, like, none of this happens, and then suddenly this thing's following you around and mimicking your movement, so it's clearly intelligent. It's not just, a natural phenomenon or something.
Exactly. Yeah, so they continue this until they get to the point that there was about 2,000 feet between Fravor and the Tic-Tac object, and he decided that he was going to cut across the circle, Fravor, because he wanted to intercept it, because he wanted to see how close he could get to it, So he dropped his nose aggressively, turned into the circle, aiming for just ahead of the object's circular flight path. I don't really get if he was planning to try and crash into it. I'm guessing not. He wanted to see how close he could get to it, but the way he said it makes it sound like he was going to kamikaze it.
Like Independence Day.
Yeah. As the object is about to pass in front of him, it reportedly accelerates for a second and then just kind of disappears. He says on recollection he thinks it's shot up again, but you just wouldn't be able to see it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to him, from his vantage point, it looks as though it just disappeared, basically. The other plane states that it had gone from the God's Eye point too. They didn't know where it had gone. They said it just disappeared too. They checked the area of disturbance in the water, but it was completely calm still, so nothing was causing it anymore. They decided to head back east to the carrier. He then realized what happened to the controller on the USS Princeton, who then informs Fravor that the object has just appeared back on radar at the original cap point that Fravor and his team were heading to for their training mission, which means that thing's not only gone over 60 miles in like 10, 20 seconds in a time he spoke to him, and however long it takes to show up, but he knew where they were going originally. He must have.
That's fucked.
Very weird. So it makes you feel like it might have hacked into it or something, It must be something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, if they were told to go to a certain area and something like that had the ability to listen into radio waves, which no reason to why it wouldn't if it had that ability, and then could understand. I mean, it could easily go, right, well, we'll go here then. We'll go over there, and then we'll go over here. And it seems almost antagonistic to a weird point. It's like, do you ever wonder whether there's a certain degree of, like, there's a load of aliens out there, and it's a bit like the sort of, the Star Trek thing where it's like, oh, you can't touch the humans because they're not advanced enough yet. But there might just be a bunch of, like, cowboy redneck bastard aliens going out there going, but they got a lot of resources in that down there that down there ocean. Let's get ourselves some teleported shit out of there. And that's what that cross is. Maybe they're just absorbing hydrogen out of our waters and using that to fuel shit. We don't know.
It makes perfect sense though, because something we have here people wouldn't have somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's like a what do you call it? A gold panning guy, going out into the mountains where there's no one there, trying to Japan for gold, getting all the little bits. Basically like that, but aliens.
Yeah, and it would make sense, like you said, with all different ones, because they keep talking about different types of ships. I see, like Bob Lazar talks about that. Yeah,
exactly. And it could just be these guys are just the dirty scumbag aliens who know they can come there because it's out of anyone else's jurisdiction.
Yeah, the Milky Way might just be like, I don't know, like the good shitty road to compare it to, like a big long shitty road. I was going to say Route 66 of the universe, but Route 66 sounds kind of cool when there's not enough there to rob. So somewhere else. Sounds like the Kingsleaf High Street of the universe.
That works. I like that.
Yeah, Smooth. Now, but I think it would make sense as well, though, because if you look at it like that, then you'd have different ships, like people from different planets, if they're flying around. It makes sense,
and also, why does everyone always assume that there's, like, again, everyone always assumes control. It's like, oh, the government's got ultimate control. These people have got ultimate control. It's like, Do even aliens have ultimate control? I fucking doubt it. Like, if they're made of flesh and blood like everyone else, they're probably just as fucked up as every other species. You know, they probably evolved maybe not from monkeys, but from squid. That's got its own issues. You know what I'm saying?
With one thing you said then, I love how like some people will insult the government saying they don't know what they're doing, but then in the next breath will talk about this giant conspiracy the government's done.
Yeah.
Like,
they can't do this, they can't handle that, but they're also in control of everything.
Yeah. The one thing we have learned over the past like this year is that the government are not very good, not very much in control.
Not at all. No.
Oh. Anyway.
I don't have the COVID. Don't worry.
No. Yeah, don't give it me over
the internet. I'll just send it through the mic.
It was 5G, man. So yeah. I'm glad that's died.
All 5G, bro. Yeah, that was dumb. That was
so dumb.
I'm glad that the thing is, I don't know. There's people who question it all and stuff like that, and I find it interesting. I listen to their points and stuff, but ultimately, I'm still going to play it safe, realistically, myself. And
it's like what you said before about if you're not sure of something, then it doesn't mean, you know, if 2 and 2 don't add up to 4, it doesn't mean that it adds up to 79.
Yeah, and there's so many different things. Like the thing is that it does worry me a little bit when governments manage to get their hands on this much control, because it's difficult to get it away from them afterwards. But at the same time, it's one of those things of, I don't mind wearing a mask. It's fine.
Yeah.
I advertise my sketch show with it, you know.
Same. Yeah. You gave me the idea.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but I was going to say something, you maybe forget about it because I got happy about the mask then. I know it'll come back to me. But all that stuff's crazy though, man. Like I love hearing the stupid. I just don't understand where most of it comes from with the conspiracy stuff, especially over COVID. Well, I know where it comes from, but I just don't get. Oh, it's just a shit show. It's just a shit show.
Yeah. The thing is that there are statistics that are interesting in different countries and things like that. But that's the thing. It's different countries and it's different ways of scanning things and detecting things.
Most of the people, which is the same with any of these kinds of things, anything where like this is the problem I always have. I was talking about this yesterday with my goth dude. We was talking about how it's just annoying. Like people always feel like they have to take a side. Like, you know, kind of things. Like I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it a lot too.
Yeah, this is what the Joe Rogan stuff has been interesting because he's made a few good points. This is part of where I've sort of got the thing of like, okay, maybe they've got an idea or two here or there, but then he's got this, you know, give me freedom or give me death vibe, which is sweet.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I appreciate. Yeah, but I can sort of appreciate it, and if you want to live your life, But at the same time,
go ahead, sorry.
You know, at the same time, I live with people who I can't risk, and I've just got to take it. I've got to take it seriously.
I think it'd be silly if you didn't do that anyway. Even if you're not living with people that are at risk, I think you will need to understand that everything you do could affect the people around you, like physically. Like, you know, walking to the child to feel around you could be affected by you not taking care. Because wearing a mask doesn't give you some invisible complete shield, you know. Everyone still needs to do their part. So
and the good thing is that we have got a massively reduced death rate in comparison to the way it was when it started. So
we've learned more now. At least
great news. Yeah, we know how to suppress the immune system a little bit so it doesn't drown you in your own fluids. We've figured out how to, you know, keep people off of ventilators more and more, just on the oxygen instead, because that's better overall. And
that is better. It seems like when you don't get put on ventilators in a way.
Yeah, because they say once you're on the ventilator, that's sort of end.
It's like your body saying, okay, I can give up now, no point in trying anymore. Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But they've also got like the drug as well now that can that just helps a lot. Basically, and it's really cheap. Apparently, some drug they had from before already, and it just helps this.
Yeah, that's the one. It's a steroid which helps just your body go, okay, chill.
Yeah. And we take the mick out of Russia, and deservedly fucking so.
Yeah, absolutely.
But apparently, because they like to work with their poisons and whatnot. It seems as though the vaccine they've made that they kind of rush through has had good
results.
Good results so far, yeah.
Does with done, yeah.
But as I was saying that, then I thought in my head, I was like, good results, but that was a while ago. Why is it only getting good results now? Is it good results? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a while ago, really.
I want to get out there and do stand up again so much, man. You have no idea.
Oh,
as soon as I know that there is a virus, a vaccine that is even remotely safe, I don't even care if they're going to track me with it. I don't care if Bill Gates is going to hack my mind. I just want to be able to go out there and do stand up again. But it's sort of easier for some people to adapt to the internet stuff, whilst a lot of comedians, I think, really do vibe with stand up and stand up alone. And it's not like I don't. I mean, if I could, I'd be doing stand up immediately. And I'm sure it's the same with you.
Yeah, it's different. It's complete. I've always seen them as completely separate things anyway.
Yeah, so. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was already sort of planned and sort of ready. I think that was the advantage we had as well.
And we've got some other stuff going on with some other people.
Yeah, we got some good stuff going on. I've got props.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said about that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. You wait till you see the transformation, mate. I am going to play. I'm going to be a genuinely what am I? The lead character from the sketch show. You know, the one King Leo, the one who sounds like this. Yes, don't you worry. It's going to be very, very good. But basically, he's a bucket. He is the bucket-wearing king with the bucket-shaped bling. So I'm going to be wearing a gold bucket, a business suit, and lots of gold accessories.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is just the administration, by the way, people. This is just,
this has all been cut to them. We went out a second ago and back in the room. Okay.
Back in the room.
So, okay. Where did we get to on this? That alone, in any way. So that whole testimony from someone like he's a commander of the Royal Navy. So that alone is, some good evidence, because it means a lot, really, when it's someone like that talking, not just some crazy person, I think.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And it wasn't just him either. It was the person, behind him in his plane, the other two people in the other plane. After Commander Fravor and his team landed back on the USS Princeton, he spoke to another one of his crews that was also about to go out on a training mission, and they had a targeting pod on board. Chad Underwood, the person in control of the targeting pod, was determined to find it after Fravor had filled him in, telling his pilot, "We're going to find it." He was very determined.
Right.
Apparently, anyway. Made a big point of this. I highly advise anyone that's interested in this as well to go onto Joe Rogan and watch, after all of this, to go onto Joe Rogan and watch the full interview with him, because he talks you through. So eventually they went around then, Chad Underwood flying around, and eventually got a video of said object. I'm going to play the video now. I remember this video differently. The video is not that entertaining. Not that much happens.
Okay.
Just warning people straight away. Okay, then. So it's stationary in the middle, then, the object in the middle there, just hovering mid-air as before. He tries to lock it up. However, the radar, due to receiving signals from whatever that is, you can see it flickers sometimes as well. He is changing views, but there's also, they're getting actively... Yeah, the receiving actively jamming as well. It's actively jamming it, so we can't get a lock on how far away it is. And active jamming is an act of war as well.
Yeah.
Have a look, see this then. Yeah, so it's just, it's him going through the different TV modes and stuff at the same time. They make a point as well about how there's no propulsion coming out of it that you would be able to see in other ones. I think it's going to shoot up in a minute. Does something? Oh God. Okay, I spoke a bit too soon.
No, it will do very shortly. I've seen this bit.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
This one's especially strange because it's just
just gone.
Yeah, so that's the thing though with that. There's just not really that much to it, though, is it, when you watch it like that? Yeah. I think the story is a lot more interesting than the video, but that video though, with everything that's going on in that military weapons system thing, all this, if you know how to read high-tech military weapon targeting systems. Apparently means a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it actively jams is the interesting bit.
Very much.
The fact that it's genuinely saying, "Don't you fucking dare look at this shit."
Yeah. Because I didn't know there was a difference between like a passive jamming, which is like what they say when something's shaped in a weird way, isn't it? So it just pings off it and goes a different way. This is actively not letting you come near it, I guess, or not letting you reflect, something like that. Yeah, which could explain as well how you figured out the cap point, maybe. Did something like that to it at that point? Well, earlier.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it could easily read targeting systems. Like, I'm sure they have a GPS based system in one of those fighter jets. I mean, you could read that as easy as reading a book if you're that technologically advanced. You just go, oh look, that's where they're going, and it's like, oh, wonder why they were going there. Let's go have a look. It all sort of follows this same logic. Again, which is part of the reason why I think that aliens are definitely just bumpkins like all of the rest of us. Because
definitely, yeah. There's no way no one knows everything. They can't know everything. Like,
yeah, exactly. Even aliens.
About. I wonder if there's like alien comedians, alien fucking. There's got to be like alien comedians, strippers, everything.
I bet they'd be shit hot, mate. I bet they'd be the best. Like, they'd be doing jokes that we've never even considered yet.
Yeah, they have more subject material than we could ever comprehend.
Yeah, they could be talking about quantum mechanics and shit, and people will be laughing their heads off because they've all got a really high intelligence level.
Yeah. But they'd still be perplexed by keeping up with the Kardashians, though.
Well, who isn't? But and thank fuck that's over. Can we all just raise a glass to Kim Kardashian for doing the one good thing she's ever done in her life, and that's stopping her fucking show.
Yeah, she's busy being a lawyer now, though, man, ain't she? She's got to make those.
You know how she's doing that? She's not even going to law school. She's just buying her own law firm and then being a fucking intern in it. She's like, oh yeah, just hire me as an intern and then I'll become a lawyer and I'll take the bar.
I did not know that's what she was doing. The way I heard this guy was nothing like that.
Yeah, that's what she's doing, and that's legal in America. God damn, I love that country. I really love America.
That's one. I used to want to go like over to America. I used to thought about like living over there. One thing I've learned from this pandemic: fuck America. That's a shit. Here, people say here's a shit show. That's a shit show. Oh.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Again, it's the Joe Rogan of it all. It's like, give me freedom or give me death. You know, that it is full blown freedom in America. Like, you don't have any support. Yeah, you don't have any support. You don't have any control. But you can go into the middle of a desert and cook meth all day.
And like all along, like all through the pandemic, like I love my wrestling. You know, like I love wrestling.
Yeah.
But straight away, one of the first things Florida did was make wrestling a what's the word for it again? An essential business.
Yeah.
I made wrestling an essential business. I'm like, great. I've got wrestling all through the pandemic, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. And they didn't even bother like quarantining people all that much. Like, at least the UFC had like the fight island. You come in here, everyone's quarantined until the fight done.
Well,
it makes sense.
In all fairness, the wrestling people have got that. They've got like the building.
Oh, did they?
When you come in, you have to get tested and screened and all that. And you have a positive, you have a negative test. You come in, you have to wear an armband, you know, a wristband, all that kind of crap. It's just they were kind of crap at it at first, let's say, and they've had some outbreaks, and now they've been forced to up it a bit. Yeah,
it took a lot of shit out of. It took a lot out of the NFL and the NBA as well. Like lots of players from there were just dropping with COVID. You know, it's horrific.
You think it'd be even worse with wrestling because they're literally at least football.
They're right up close to each other. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And they're doing big crazy brawls in the middle of it with like 20 odd people in the ring. It's like cool, okay, but.
Yeah. What if we found out that COVID never actually transferred between person to person like that, and it was all about just like people rubbing up against each other in an inappropriate way or something like that. It was just a pervert's disease. And that's why all of the NFL players have got it, because they've just been rubbing up against, like, hey, girl.
If all the prostitutes start dropping dead next, then yeah, you're on.
We've got our proof. It's not though. It's not though, because really old people die and no one wants to touch them.
Well, you don't know what they're doing I've heard some stories about those nursing homes. Those teeth are never in, believe me.
Jesus fucking Christ! No one wants a gummy, mate. No one wants a gummy.
No. Okay, yeah. So that video there, I mean, it's not that amazing, but it shows, what was there. It shows the thing open if you know what you're looking for. But more amazing than that, though, is that this is a video that was leaked to the public and has since, along with 2 other leaked videos, been verified and confirmed to be real-life encounters with a UFO by the Pentagon.
Yep, I love these. These are the best, man.
They confirmed this is to, and I quote, clear up any misconceptions by the public as to whether or not the videos circulating were real or not. They also stated, after an investigation was undertaken, it was decided the videos did not reveal any sensitive capabilities or systems that would damage the ongoing military future investigations into unidentified aerial phenomena. So they were happy that the videos didn't show any sensitive systems or anything.
They weren't giving away any state secrets, basically.
Yeah. So they were just like, yeah, it's real. These are real. Which people have. It's just saying it now. It sounds like, it doesn't sound like much of a punchline, like much of an ending. But they're saying
it's real. They're saying it's real. Yeah. And that, again, like, it doesn't matter how many times you say it, it sounds almost hollow, because people have always been going for years. Well, what if the government just told us? Well, we found out what would happen if the government just told us. Everyone just goes, oh, all right.
Yes. I am of the opinion that I think, well, I don't know for sure, obviously not this fast. I wouldn't be surprised, put it that way, if in the next couple of years we got even more proof of it. Something a bit more.
And it was a slow drip feed as it sort of gradually comes up, yeah.
Oh, that too, very much so. But just some more big stuff, that will make it certain, and people won't give a shit.
I definitely think that's the thing. That's the thing. I think there's plenty of other videos like that, probably far more impressive videos, that they're just going to slowly just go, okay, maybe this one now, maybe this one now, maybe this one,
Well, I am very glad you mentioned that, Nathan, because the other 2 videos that were declassified at the same time, I do have them here so we can take a look at them. I think these ones are a lot better, personally.
They're fucking brilliant.
Yeah, in regards to a bit more of an entertaining, what you'd want to see from a UFO video.
You can also make out the shape actually fairly well in comparison. It's remarkable.
Yeah. These show a bit more. So, okay, let's have a look at these then. So, I forget the name of this one. Oh, turn it down a bit.
I mean, that's the thing. Look at it. There's no signs of any propulsion whatsoever.
Nothing
at all. It's clearly moving at a hell of a speed, because look at the clouds behind it.
I wonder if they've got the active jamming on this one. I'm going to look into these in the future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a clear shape. I mean, you can
look at it here, rotating,
getting itself prepared for where it's going to go, and then it disappears again. Yeah.
Hold on, let's go back to that for a sec.
Because look, it's like the way Bob Lazar explained it and Joe Rogan. It aligns itself with where it wants to go, and it just goes BAM!
Yeah, true, actually. That's a good way. I didn't even think of it like that. Why you would do it.
Yeah, watch it do it now. It's aligning itself. It's about to go, big flash, and then it disappears.
It's like the gravitational field, isn't it? Like when they say it could be like a gravitational bubble, and then it just kind of falls, essentially. Much faster than falling, but...
Yeah, it's falling through space almost. It's almost like if you like it's all to do with relativity, isn't it? Because if you've got a relative point on the Earth and you're inside the Earth's atmosphere, you're moving relative to the Earth. But what happens if you suddenly take yourself out of that relativity of the Earth and attach it to something else? Yeah. Then suddenly the Earth is moving past you. Yeah. And what happens if you attach it to something else or something else or something else? It could be a quantum entanglement type thing where they're just going anchoring off of a point in the galaxy and waiting for stuff to drag it round.
Oh, I like how you put. I never thought of it like that. Then that
Yeah.
is true. How like the concept of what you said, that it's essentially that's not moving. It's almost as if it's making everything else fall through that, which it is at the same time doing both.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe
Wow.
it's stopping completely within our dimensions and just allowing space to move around it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that like scientists completely understand. They understand the complete theoretical science behind how these work, the propulsion systems, what they could be, in regards to what Bob Lazar's talking about as well. They understand all that science. They just can't replicate it. These seem to act exactly like the theoretical ideas we have that we're nowhere near being able to create.
Yeah, but we know that technically, theoretically, it's technically possible.
Yeah. And the whole like element 150, because that's a lot of it, isn't it? The whole source of power you'd need to do that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Hence
but
where,
I mean,
like you said earlier about different places having different resources, kind of what you were saying earlier.
Exactly. Yeah, and it also could well be that they have more readily available access to materials you could use to make fusion reactors with, or something like that. I mean, fusion reactions are the way forward. If we ever want to advance as a society, we've got to get fusion on the way. That shit is the Mac.
I've heard that a lot. I wouldn't have a clue what that actually means.
Do you know how it works roughly?
No. Feel free.
Quick little thing about it. So a fission reaction is what we do in a normal nuclear reactor. Now, a fission reaction is where you take an atom and you smack it with another atom and it explodes out and produces energy. Now, what you do in a fusion reaction is you take two atoms and you force them together, which creates actually even more energy, because it combines the protons and all those and neutrons in a particular way that you've got excess electrons, excess energy, boom. The wonderful thing about fusion reactors, though, or fission reactors rather, is that they don't exist in nature. The only way a fission reaction has ever happened in the universe, as far as we know, is by human hands.
Okay.
Yeah, whilst the sun is a fusion reaction. So what you're essentially talking about making is a sun on planet Earth. Now, you can't hold that with anything. Instead, you need electromagnets, these huge electromagnets that turn this fusion material, which is coincidentally helium-3, which is abundant on the moon, which is probably why China has increased its spacefaring activities drastically over the past 10 years, because they want to get themselves some helium-3. And the problem with fusion reactors at the moment is that it requires so much energy to keep that shit contained with those electromagnets.
That's kind of what
it's not worth running it.
Yeah. The way I thought of that in my head, it might help to anyone else who's not smart like me to figure out what you were saying. It's like in Spider-Man 2, if you remember the Tobey Maguire one, when Doc Ock's building that thing to hold it in. Is that it?
That's basically what he's talking about. Although realistically, that's not. I mean, it's far off, but it's not ridiculously far off from a type of fusion reactor, which I think is called a plasma well, which is I think it's a fusion reactor anyway. But it's not very efficient again. But it's basically just those like big, like Tesla ball things that you can press it, put your hand on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sort of,
yeah.
That, except fucking huge and terrifying. The only other problem wrong with a fusion reaction is it's so hot that if it goes wrong, it can potentially ignite your atmosphere.
There's give and take. It's fine. Look at what the Hadron Collider was. The Hadron Collider was going to kill us. It's fine.
Yeah, but the wonderful thing about a fusion reaction is if you can get it going properly to the right level and you can make it self-sustaining, you never have to put anything into it again. It just keeps running.
I would say
self-sustaining system.
Yeah. I didn't know you were the science person. I'm going to come to you in that case now. Anytime. Okay,
yeah.
So this is the go fast one, and let's put this one up first.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I like this one.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that it's a bird or something, but it's very easy to disprove that is.
Yeah, I mean, look at the speed it's moving for a start.
And that's apparently colder than the sea beneath it because of the colours it's showing up out, so that bird would have to be dead.
Yeah.
So, something that works like that anyway.
There's something very strange about something. And again, no movement, no sign of movement either. There's no vapor trail coming out of it, so it's not a conventional aircraft. I mean, it could be a propeller aircraft, but then you'd see some form of movement from that.
Yeah.
You don't see wings moving. You don't see wings moving, so it's hard to say that it's a bird.
Yeah, there was something about when they were going through. There was something about the temperature with the one view shows that the bird would have to be like either ridiculously cold, I think it was, or ridiculously hot.
Dead,
one of them,
or literally, yeah, one of the two.
It would be dead if it was anywhere near one of them. Yeah. But that was the story of Commander David Fravor and the Tic-Tac video, and the other 3 videos that have been released, confirmed to be encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena. The Soviets have also confirmed that there's been something they found that confirmed they had runnings with them too. Apparently, one who tried to shoot at naturally the Russians, first thing they thought to do was shoot at it, and they did, and in an instant it shot back and blew up the plane that shot at it. And since then, apparently the Russians were like, "Don't go near it, don't engage, just watch it."
Yeah, yeah, you would after that.
The first thing to do, shoot it.
Yeah. No. I think that's a very Russian attitude overall.
Not being stereotypical, the Russian government.
Not at all. Yeah. No, definitely not. But if the Americans can hold their fucking trigger finger, like,
yeah, that's debatable.
Exactly.
Well, these are just the stories they've confirmed. There might be many others they haven't confirmed, where they beat the shit out of them. But I, for one thing, though, would say, anyway, if aliens did appear, I wouldn't want the first clothes to see me. I wouldn't want for the first clothes they see me wearing to be something that looks like I'm a walking billboard for a company whose main contribution to the world is a swooshy tick. Anyway, I would want them to see me in some sexy ass clothes. They have a cool design that I can wear with other stuff to make me look as good as possible. And I think
where on earth could I get something like that, though, Carl? It's impossible, surely.
It's impossible. Well, my particularly swanky listeners, and thank you, Nathan.
Ooh, nice.
You should visit Nobody's Priority Clothing. They have a multitude of clothing with various designs that scream creativity rather than "I'm a chav bitch." Nobody's Priority Clothing is available via Facebook and teespring.com. If you use promo code KDPromo now to receive a whole 25% off your order, because we just can't help but giving you the best deal here. But if you don't believe me how sexy the clothes are, take a quick look at this.
Nobody's Priority Clothing is available right now via Facebook and teesprung.com. Use promo KDPromo to receive 25% off. That's KDPromo with zeros for the O's. But remember, that's zeros in the place of the O's. I've repeated that twice. Help support the channel by buying some sexy ass clothes today. Kd Kersey merchandise coming soon. But remember, that's zeros in the place of the O's. I've repeated that twice. Kd Kersey merchandise coming soon.
Yeah.
Cut that up. Cut that up. You'll get something.
That was perfect. Thank you. There we go then. Okay, well, in that case then, my man, the floor is over to you. That's what they say, isn't it? The floor is yours. Okay. The floor is yours.
'Tis indeed. If you want a terrifying killer who is unlike any other killer, I'm going to say the name, and if you know the name, let me know. But she was called Nannie Doss.
No.
Okay.
I do not recognize that at all.
Nannie Doss, and this is straight off of Wikipedia, as I'm having to do this on the fly. Born Nancy Hazel, November 4th, 1905, and died on June the 2nd, 1965, was an American serial killer responsible for the deaths of 11 people sometime between the 1920s and 1954. Nannie Doss was referred to as the Giggling Granny, the Lonely Hearts Killer, the Black Widow, and the Lady Bluebeard.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
Lady
this is
Bluebeard.
going to. Yeah, this is going to get pretty fucking nasty.
I'm all up for nasty.
Okay, so in her early life, pretty standard kind of stuff. She was born Nancy Hazel to Louisa Lou Nay Holder, previously Holder, and James F. Hazel. She was one of 5 children. She had 1 brother and 3 sisters. At the age of 7, while the family was taking a train visit to relatives in southern Alabama, Nannie hit her head on a metal bar on the seat in front of her when the train suddenly stopped. For years after, she suffered severe headaches, blackouts, and depression. She blamed these and her mental instability on that incident. Now, do you know what that is probably in reference to?
Well, a brain damage or concussion?
Certainly it is, but it's a specific type of brain damage as well. Here comes the science bit.
Are you on about CTE or?
Oh, it's more specific than CTE because you see, CTE is a generalized damage of the head. It could be anywhere in there.
It's more of a wear and tear any days.
Yeah, this is frontal lobe damage. Now, the frontal lobe, the part across here, is responsible for making you decide whether something's okay or not. It affects your your impulsivity. Now, a man in Texas, I think it was at some point, was working on a railroad, and at one point, one of the pieces of dynamite went off before it was meant to, sending a railway spike through his head. But it went through there and out there, straight through the frontal lobe.
Right. Now,
he was absolutely fine. In fact, he didn't even feel that much pain. He was perfectly aware, perfectly awake, absolutely conscious. But for the next few weeks, he would just pull his trousers down and start pissing, or just wank at ladies that he saw and liked the look of. There is an impulsivity issue.
It's like your inhibition is like when you're drunk, isn't it? Your inhibition.
Exactly.
Whatever, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Now that's exactly what happened to Nancy Hazel.
You might be right, and you might know then. Am I right in thinking there's no nerve endings in the brain too, so it makes sense you wouldn't feel this?
Yeah, very, very few at all. The only things he'd feel would be there and there. The brain itself, absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now, during childhood, her favourite hobby was reading her mother's romance magazines, dreaming of her own romantic future. Lovely, lovely, cute little girl. How fucking ever. Nancy's father was a bit weird and would stop her from going out and meeting men for fear that she was going to get molested. He also forbade them to go to dances, social events. None of this is good for someone's mental health, especially if you don't want them to become a serial killer. She married first at the age of 16, and then, as I say, shit did not get good. For example, 2 children died under her care within the same year. One moment the kids were perfectly healthy, and then suddenly they died without an apparent cause. It's very likely that she was poisoning them. The couple divorced. She divorced her husband in 1928. Braggs took his older daughter Malvina with him and left a newborn Florine with his ex-wife and mother. Just a year after the divorce, Doss married her second husband. He was an abusive alcoholic from Jacksonville named Frank Harrelson. The two met through a Lonely Hearts column. Harrelson wrote her romantic letters while Doss responded with racy letters and photos. Again, the inhibition area not working quite as well. So she's at a time when that stuff wasn't normal. I mean, 1928, you could get into quite a lot of trouble for that kind of stuff. They'd send you away calling you a harlot.
I'm more surprised. Like, I thought back then you'd still be at the point where you had to pose for a while for a photo. So
yeah, just sitting there like, okay, tits out, hold it.
Yeah, this is gonna be really sexy in an hour when it's done.
Oh, could you imagine if you went through all that and forgot that you'd fucked up your lipstick and looked in it like, fuck, over again, tit out.
Sat there the whole time, realised you never turned it on.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
I haven't done that with a podcast at all.
No, never. No, of course not. Just a year after the divorce, despite the abuse, the marriage lasted 16 years until 1945. I'm getting all of this from allthatisinteresting.com, by the way. Worth mentioning if sources.
They are the king of all that is interesting.
Yes, Doss likely killed her own newborn granddaughter a few days after the birth.
Here's where it's granny by this point then now.
Yeah, here's where it starts to get really fucking nasty. It wasn't poisoning. No. Nannie Doss used a hairpin to stab her in the brain.
What?
Yeah. Right in the brain. Specifically in the soft spot.
Oh, newborn, yeah. Oh.
Newborn. We're talking actual newborn baby. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. People come up and say to you, oh, yes, but women don't murder.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I've said
dudes are a lot more likely to murder.
I don't agree with that.
Ooh.
I just think that women are better at getting away with it.
You might well be right. There is a genuine. Yeah, you're right. And there's also a shown evidence that women are more likely to get off on the same charges than men.
Yeah,
even with the same level of evidence. Yeah, it's true.
It's like stereotypically across the board. Women generally are more methodical, more calculated. Obviously, that sounds bad, but I don't just mean that in a bad way.
Yeah,
this is good things too. Yeah,
you got to walk carefully, and ultimately, exactly. Like it's always a generalization. Like
exactly,
there's women
that
who absolutely are. Yeah,
yeah.
But and also there are definitely really, really efficient male killers. I mean, let's look at the Iceman, for example. That guy made a profession out of that shit.
Yeah. Oh, the assassin guy, weren't he?
Yeah. Evil son of a bitch as well. Like they tried to make him look all nice and like a family man in the film they did about him, but in reality, he was fucking nasty.
Wasn't he saying that it literally meant nothing to him when you killed him? Like, didn't mean a damn thing to him.
At one point, he shot a man in the head to see if his crossbow worked. I shit you not. He was like, "Hey, Yus, come over here." And the guy was like, "What is it, man? What can I help you with?" Yeah, that works.
Oh, that's King Joffrey level of evil, that is.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And I mean, that is essentially what we're dealing with here, except with a terrifying grandma.
I love that notion. I mean, the Giggling Granny, first of all, is just terrifying name for a killer.
Absolutely. From what I've read previously, almost everyone in the family knew that she was responsible. There was no way you accidentally stab a fucking infant.
No.
So, no. But she was still married to an abusive husband, wasn't she, for 16 years? Well, that had to come to an end, Carl.
What was he doing that was abusive? Do you know? Or did it just say that he was abusive? So you just
it says that he was abusive, but I believe it was things to do with beating and just
a lot of the normal way that people fought back then as well, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but then again, I suppose this would be like.
I mean, it was the post World War II thing as well. Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys came back from the end of World War II and were fucked.
Oh, so this was what year was this then?
This is now September 15th, 1945. So he was probably a prick before World War II as well, actually. But he was definitely a prick afterwards.
He's going to be more, in any sense, if he was a dick before, he's going to be more of a dick after that. That ain't going to make you a nice guy suddenly.
No, not at all. So that was, it looked significantly like a poisoning, because what she did was mix a secret ingredient into his hidden jar of moonshine. I mean, the fuck is up with this story? How is this not a Hollywood movie at this stage? Legitimately, how is it not a Hollywood movie?
It surprises me that I don't recognize any of this, because when I just went onto YouTube, then there's not much on it. I'm like, this sounds like it should be bigger.
Yeah, it's fucked up, and yet people don't know that much about it. Now, people just assumed he died of food poisoning. Meanwhile, Doss collected enough life insurance money from his death to buy a plot of land and a house. Yeah, exactly.
Always life insurance. Funnily enough, if you pay a bit of money, you say to someone, if your husband dies and you get a load of money, shockingly, people think about killing them.
Yeah, isn't that a surprise? If you go up to them and say, "Hey, I've got maybe 100 grand with your name on it," they might go, "Oh, well."
I mean, it's one of them. It
Bleach
has
is
to
only
be there.
35 quid a bottle of massive bleach. I can
And
melt a body pretty easy.
That's fucking it's one of them. No, you think about it, and it's like life insurance, I suppose, kind of has to be there, but still, it's always involved in these.
She didn't stop there. In 1952, 7 years after he responded to a lonely art ad sent by Doss, Ari Lanning of Lexington, North Carolina, died. So she kept it going. She was playing the doting wife, but adding poison to one of Lanning's meals. He died shortly thereafter. He was a heavy drinker, so doctors attributed the heart attack to alcohol. Are we seeing a pattern here?
So she started seeing him and then he dies.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's also the alcohol's covering it as well, which is, I think, potentially ricin, which affects the liver in the same way that alcohol does, which is fucking horrible. Like it's the stuff that you get out of kidney beans. Yeah, you get it out of kidney beans, and it will fucking kill you very quickly, especially if you don't cook the kidney beans.
I didn't know that was a joke.
No, that's true. Actually, that's genuinely true. You know, you can eat any type of bean raw, literally anyone apart from kidney beans, because if you eat kidney beans raw, you will die of ricin poisoning.
Really?
Absolutely.
So they must come from them, like you said, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense, then, actually. You have to got ricin in here. I remember hearing
and it's easy to come across. You know, you can easily make it. You can easily get the kidney beans. You can grind them down. You can get what you need out of them and put it in someone's moonshine.
If they happen to have some. I was about to say as well, actually, though. I was like, at the moment, I mean, yeah, obviously the baby being stabbed with a hairpin.
Yeah.
But ignore that one for now. But the other two, she might just be secretly making moonshine for them and be really bad at it.
She did also kill 2 previous kids. Remember that.
Forgetting them two too. So focusing on 2 of the 5 here.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough what Rodney Alcala did in his court case. You know, he was
really
in his final court case. His third one. It got redone twice for this one particular person he'd killed. Right. They did it a third time, and they added on these 4 other bodies that the DNA fairy linked to him, and basically he spent the whole time putting up a decent argument as to why he didn't kill the one. Forgot about the other 4. I was like, oh no, I don't remember that.
Could not have happened because I have already proven my innocence from the one time.
Forget about the DNA and the semen of the other 4.
Yeah.
Nothing.
My semen ends up everywhere. You have no idea.
Did you not see me on the dating game? I'm dashing.
Yeah.
That
dude was creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. He sort of was and wasn't creepy on the actual dating game.
Come on, over here.
He's creepy, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a lot of people out there who just go, oh, but he's just that silent, sort of strange kind of guy. He's probably kind of sensitive and kind of art poetry and kind of... No.
Yeah. No. He probably does like poetry.
He probably does. Probably the stuff he writes in their blood.
Yeah. I recommend that episode. It was a good one last week's. The one before. It sounds like you'd enjoy both of those stories.
Yeah, I think I've got to go and do recaps on those two because that guy in particular fucking creeps me out. Oh yeah, Doss didn't just stick to people who were her own age and younger. No. His mother needed a caretaker after she fell and broke her hip in 1953 after her father passed away. This was Nannie's mother.
Oh, sorry, you cut out a little bit as you were saying it. But cool.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so she basically, Doss's mother needed a caretaker after she fell and broke her hip in 1953 after her father passed away. The woman died suddenly and without warning a few months after Doss agreed to take care of her. Shortly after her mother's death, one of Doss's sisters died suddenly after having contact with Nannie Doss. 7 people so far have been killed by Nannie Doss, and the police have not said a fucking word. This woman has killed 2 children by poisoning, 1 man by poisoning, then stabbed a fucking infant in the head, and the police were like, nah, no big deal. She then fucking poisons 3 other people. Still nothing.
And I mean, let's break it down a little bit, because the first 2, you said they were killed how again?
Right, first 2 were poisoning. Then first 3 were poisoning. Then it was the stab in the head. Then poisoning.
Yeah.
Or was it? No, it was 2 poisonings. Then stab in the head. Then poisoning.
He said
maybe?
3 poison. No, I think he said 3 poisoning, then stab it. But either way.
The
original poisonings, you could get by them just because police are dumb. Then they probably wouldn't. I know a lot of the stuff then they couldn't detect afterwards as well.
Exactly. So. They could look at it and they could go, well, maybe it was a food poisoning thing. Maybe it was an infection of some kind. Maybe they had a disease.
As far as the stabbing of the baby head goes, you said that was a family. It was her grandchild.
The family, her own grandchild, newborn, stabbed in the head with a needle through the soft spot.
So if the family...
how does that not get reported to the police?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If the family kind of knew about it, like you were saying, that big kind of thing, then when... I would imagine that back then when a child's born, they wouldn't be aware of it straight away. They wouldn't have all the hospital stuff and the records leading up to it. Until they took them and registered them somewhere, they wouldn't be seen as a person, so it'd be very easy to hide, maybe. You know what I mean?
You could be right, yeah.
Yeah. And then on from that, I suppose it just starts to... It should be the family that should look at it and be like, we should tell someone.
Yeah. tell them right now, I don't want my children to be around her.
Or at least they know what she's been doing. At least just give her some of the poison. But then again, there's not that many of them left now, because then she's killed her mom, she's killed someone else in the family.
Yeah, her dad's already dead.
She's killing all the witnesses, it feels like.
Yeah. It's like,
it really
do you think you can grass me up about killing that infant? Nah, you're all dead. It's fucking creepy, dude.
Yeah, and I just saw a picture of her as well when I was looking at that thing, and it's creepier when you see her as well.
Yeah, she's got a horrible look to her.
Got
that
weird,
grin, that soulless grin. Yeah. The final victim was her last husband, the third one, Samuel Doss of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was neither drunk nor abusive. He simply made the mistake of telling his wife that she could only read magazines or watch television shows that were for educational purposes.
Well, I mean, that is pretty dicky.
To be fair, I'd murder a motherfucker for that too.
That's the most understandable one so far.
Yeah, like I'm okay. Like Nannie Doss, okay. The previous ones, no. But at the same time, every so often I like to kick back and watch The Mandalorian.
Granny's got to watch her Simpsons.
Fuck yes. She basically...
I was about to talk about wrestling then, but that's an educational video. So.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you can't... It's very educational. How else are you going to learn how to do a suplex on your little brother? I mean, like...
Exactly. And they debuted a new group the other day, and they called someone Slapjack. And I learned after hearing that Slapjack actually means when you come in your hand and slap someone in the face of it. So that was educational.
Fuck yes, I now have my weekend plans sorted.
There you go. Oh, we are very off topic.
However, right, okay. So, she's been told that she can't watch anything that isn't for educational purposes. So it's time to make an educational program on how to make a poison cake.
How to make a murder.
Yeah. First take a prune cake and then lace that shit with poison. So Samuel Doss spent a month recovering in the hospital, right? So he didn't die immediately. In fact, a few days after he got home, poison-laced coffee finished him off.
Wow. If we didn't think, where did the poison come from in this cake? Oh, I don't know, but this coffee looks nice.
Oh, I'll take that brew. After the way I had that poisoning in hospital, I need this, love.
Here you go, take this. Oh, thank you. Why is the coffee? Why is it fizzing? And why is it purple?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Drink it.
I also don't know why I sound like a Yorkshire man when I'm from fucking Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. That would be in the grade. No, I can't do it. Yeah. We'll have to do around 1 week when you're not on it, and you can record like all different accents of people, celebrities or something, and have to guess who they are.
Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, I can do that. I've got the Jason Statham. I can do that anytime. Do you want to check out a bit of Jason?
Go on.
All right. All right, my name's Jason Statham. I'm here to be fucking hardcore. You got no idea, mate. No idea how fucking hard it is being me. I used to do ballet, motherfucker.
That's actually really good, yeah. Party and perfect as well.
Okay, so obviously, once you poison someone with a fucking cake and they go to hospital and then they get poisoned again, it's pretty fucking obvious what is happening at this stage. Yeah. So,
are they starting the clock on then now, you think?
Yeah. I think at this point people are starting to realise, because the doctor who treated her fifth husband, I'm sorry.
Fucking hell.
One of them must have escaped. Even though he got killed as well. I can't remember.
Mate, it's like a Henry VIII lady in it.
It basically is. I mean, she really went through them. It was pretty impressive.
Oh, the Black Widow makes sense now, though.
She must also, let's be honest, to keep these men, despite what she was doing and despite being this fucking like crazy, she must have been motherfucking dynamite in the sack, bro.
Oh, good, and hot as hell. Let's have a look. Nannie Doss, young.
She is not. Even
in the younger days, though.
Well, maybe.
Oh, there we go. If that's Nannie Doss, she looks alright in the younger days, you know. Let me save that, and I'll send that over. Hold on. Wait there. You want to see this looker coming up in a second? Look at that looker.
All right, fair play. Yeah, that's not terrible. But she's still got that crazy fucking look in her eyes, dude. You can tell that's there. There's that slight smirk on her face, which is like, I'm not okay about this. Anyway, so the doctor who treated her fifth and final husband suspected foul play, obviously. So during his month-long hospitalization, but he had no proof. The doctor convinced Doss, who was to receive 2 life insurance benefits after the husband's death, to let him perform an autopsy. Why the fuck she would agree to that, I don't know.
Because she probably thinks it would look bad if she didn't, and she's like, well, they're not going to be able to find anything, because I wouldn't expect them to be able to, because this is going to be like 50s now at the most, or something.
You're probably not wrong there. You're probably not wrong. I mean, yeah, I hadn't really considered that. I don't even know if writing shows up in the body afterwards. I don't think it does. I think it disappears pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I was watching something from the 70s or the 60s the other day, and it was an assassin in Germany during the West Germany, before the Berlin Wall went down.
Yeah.
And he was killing people with potassium cyanide capsules, and it would look like a heart attack. And unless it would show up apparently, unless they checked really. But they'd have to do know what they're looking for, you know.
Yeah, you got to do a specific test for cyanide, otherwise you don't know what you're going for. Oh, I'm sorry, happening.
And even then, not much will show up anyway, apparently. But so I can imagine it not being much different with this.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So, the physician said it would be a good idea because the autopsy would save lives. So essentially, he was going, it's got nothing to do with worry and that either. He was going like, nah, it's just, he's had a heart attack or something.
Scientific research.
Exactly.
Which was
the doctor found. Yeah. Oh, this is it. It wasn't ricin. The doctor found huge amounts of arsenic in Samuel Doss's body and alerted the police. Nannie Doss was arrested in 1954. She soon confessed to killing 4 of her 5 ex-husbands, but not her family members. Authorities exhumed some of Doss's previous victims and found extraordinary amounts of arsenic or rat poison in their bodies. It turns out that a common household ingredient at the time was a potent way to kill people, and without anyone suspecting a thing. The grinning granny.
I'd seen arsenic in something recently. I was like, what is that in? I was just searching for it, and you said it rat poison. That was it, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. The grinning granny's calling card was to poison her loved ones with drinks or food spiked with huge amounts of poison. In all, authorities suspected she killed as many as 12 people, most of whom were blood-related. Doss blamed her murderous escapades on her brain injury. Meanwhile, journalists gave her the nickname Giggling Granny because every time she would tell the story of how she killed her late husbands, she laughed.
Okay. That'd be creepy. What was it you said with her, like with the kids and that then? Did they ever actually get officially fined for that, or was that just, you know?
I believe she did, yeah, because they went back and they exhumed the bodies of the of the kids and of the ex-husbands, and yeah, all of them were filled with poison, and it all came down to realistically a head injury. Arguably came down to a head injury because ultimately there was no one else in her family who had these same traits. There were abusive people in her family. There were alcoholics in her family, but none of her children did anything like this. None of her.
But then you've got. I know what you mean, but then you've got it's a debate, isn't it? Like that endless debate whether it's nature or nurture. You know,
nature or nurture, yeah.
Yeah, but. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything because I find it kind of weird when you said it, like that she got hit on the head and that, because it's always the back of the head where that normally happens. The front of the head is protected. It's built to take shots to the head.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's built for it, but if it happens to go through and fuck it up, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
and that as I say, that particular area up there is entirely down to deciding what's right and wrong. It's for lack of a better word, your conscience. And if it gets damaged in that way, you don't necessarily react in the same way. Now, whether you see, there is a question as well as to whether she did actually kill that infant with the needle, as it is. I mean, it's the most horrific one, and it's definitely the most psycho killer thing to do. But at the same time, it's not her MO.
No, but that makes more sense to the whole brain injury thing, though, because like it's like that thing, like when you just like you walk past someone, like people always say different things about, like, you know, I got a sudden urge to kick this person. I didn't, but I just had that sudden urge to for a second. That, you know.
Yeah. Or like when you're holding a knife and you're like, ooh, that could be no.
Like, you probably heard if I just dropped this on my foot now. And you think about doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Intrusive thoughts, as they're so called.
Yeah. Oh, is that
Yeah. But that is ultimately the story of Nannie Doss, the giggling grandma.
I like that, man. That was a really good one.
Yeah. I love telling people that story because it's weird how few people know that story when you consider how long it went on for, how many people died, and all family members as well. That's the other thing, which again is actually quite a common thing for female killers in particular. Is not killing like people they don't know, but specifically more likely to kill people they do know. Sorry, I'm just attacking my own phone.
That's one thing, like when we was talking earlier about the common differences you see between the men and women killers. A lot of the time it is more like more emotionally fueled for women.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But not always, though. Sometimes they can be even colder. So okay, I think we're pretty good then, man, in that case.
That was pretty sweet, man. Yeah. Bit of aliens, bit of terrifying murder, you know.
Aliens are terrifying, man. That's perfect. We do everything here, man. We cover any story that's interesting. True crime, aliens. I've got random ones of like historical events. Like, you ever heard of the Dancing Plague? That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's so fucked. People don't know about that shit. A fucking disease that happened like for a long time as well. It wasn't just a tiny bit of it. It was like a few decades, was it?
No. The actual thing didn't last that long. It lasted months more.
Oh, months. Okay. I thought it sort of popped up multiple places throughout the years.
No, but like 400 people died from it, though.
Shit, me.
Like 15 people a day. There's a whole, like, I got the whole story on one of the early episodes. It started with a patient zero thing and everything, which was weird when I found that out. I didn't think it would be like that, but The full records.
It sounds sort of like a motor neuron disease type thing, which normally is sort of, I mean, it can be bacteria and stuff like that, but it could be a prion as well, which is like a loose. Prions are a different kind of microbe, but they're in people's brains and things like that. And if you eat human brain specifically, that will send you fucking insane instantly. It's the reason why mad cow disease was a big thing, because they kept feeding cows cow brain. Not a smart move. I think prions have lots of things that are linked to like sudden movements and twitches and things like that could sort of seem a bit like dancing. Yeah.
Well, I think it could have started like that, but it definitely turned into a hysteria at some point, because they, rather than quarantine it, the town decided to like build stages for them, to employ musicians round the clock. They employed people to make them dance and pull them back up when they stopped dancing, when they passed out.
That's so fucked. I didn't know that. I just knew about the disease. I didn't know they were fucking profiteering off of these people dancing to death.
Apparently they were trying to look after them, because they were also given they made little red trainers for them, but they were like seen as the original trainers. Red so that you wouldn't see the blood coming through.
Fucking hell, mate.
History is amazing, man.
It really fucking is.
The world in general is just amazing.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
So, on that happy note, I think we're done then.
I think we're done. Yeah, that works really well.
Let's just end it, and then I'll check something else through after then. But thank you very much then, Nathan, for gracing us with your presence today. There'll be, I'll do this time, there'll be the links in the description for the Dead Man Dancing thing, for the Dead Man Dancing YouTube channel. Remind us everything about that again, all the titles, etc.
Okay, so the name is Dead Man Dancing on YouTube, Dead Man Dancing on SoundCloud, and Dead Man Dancing on, Dead Man Dancing, basically, on all things. But the important thing to remember is Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse. Now, Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse is a sketch show where I play all the characters. I wrote it, directed it, and produced it all by myself. So if you hate it, you know who to blame. The best part about it, by far, in my opinion, is the fact that I played Jason Statham in it at one point, who gives you hardcore advice on how to survive movie situations. There's also a dangerously aggressive pervert called Lionel L. Lansbury, and there's a modified version of the Bop It game called Fuck It. Work it out for yourselves. Regardless, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you want to get your podcasts, you can find it.
Cool. Right, thank you very much, Jen. Take care, everyone. We'll see you later.
Cheers, guys.
Peace.
Enjoy.